Today we are here with Iris. She is our Manchester hometown hero. Thank you, Iris, for taking time to talk with us.
Thank you.
So tell us a little bit about how you got involved with your community cares.
Well, I met Michelle. She was a physical therapist for my partner, helping her out through her process of being sick. And I heard about the organization, Your Community Care, and decided to get involved. I'm a volunteer for Your Community Cares. And I have a partner who has an illness, very, well, it's not rare anymore, it's called sarcoid. And with that, I realized how many people are in need besides ourselves. It's very difficult being a caretaker, trying to do everything yourself. My mother went through a process here. She passed last year in this house, also needing services that were hard to find. My partner was needing services and were hard to find. So that's how I basically found Your Community Cares. Through that process of helping her out and trying to navigate the system that we have here in Connecticut, which is not that easy. So using yourcommunitycares.org, I used the platform in order to find out what volunteer services are out there for Manchester, Connecticut. And with that, I can decide, what day I can volunteer to help someone, how many hours I can put in. Besides that, I also do a lot of background work by, delivering flyers to local agencies, doctor's office, or anywhere else. I even post them in the grocery stores to get the word out about this organization that's great. And it helps a lot of people besides myself. Besides volunteering to do groceries or take individuals out to doctor's appointments, a lot of these people that I've spoken to require or need companionship. It gets very lonely out there with the pandemic. Things have gone really haywire for a lot of these people that they're mostly homebound and they're not getting the services, or we're not getting the services at that time. That's part of one of the volunteering things you can do is just pick up the phone, talk to somebody, get to know them, go visit them, do a little companionship, go for a walk or go eat, do something, because the need is out there. It's so needed. Plus you get so much from these individuals. The stories they can tell you, their lives of things they can tell you. I even got to meet a man of 107 years old. How many people get that opportunity? And it's incredible, the stories they can tell you. So those are what Your Community Cares is looking for in volunteers. It doesn't necessarily have to be driving anybody. It's just a matter of picking up a phone and calling someone and checking in on them and seeing, hey, how you doing? That's it. So the gentleman I met that was 107 years old, or at the time he was 106, was at one of the events, the Silk City event here in Manchester. I saw him walking around by himself with his little stroller, and he had on a hat that said 106, and that piqued my interest. So I stopped him. We talked for a while. I provided him information on the services for Your Community Cares, and little did we know that he utilized some of those services. So now he is a member of Your Community Cares, and he gets services when needed. So those are the things that, Your Community Cares impact on people's lives. So while I'm out on my daily task, if I see anybody, seniors or people that are disabled that look like they can, use Your Community Cares, I do provide them with a flyer. I keep them in my car for that purpose and on me. So if I see someone with a walker or someone struggling, I basically provide them that information to let them know that this is an organization that's you can utilize, no cost to them, and they can get whatever needed services they need, like grocery shopping, doctor's appointment, or like I said, companionship.
So besides volunteering, what else are you helping with?
Well, Manchester has a lot of events, art events, and Michelle knew I was an artist, so she sought me out in order to um, get our name out there, Your Community Cares name, and you know, work with these events that they have every year. So I've done the Scarecrow Festival, made several scarecrows. I do any fairs that are out there, whatever they need. Currently, I'm making stickers for them and a sign, and these are the stickers that are coming out. So
Those
these
are so cute.
very easy to make, and it's fun to do. And I'm making a sign, which is on the other side, for any photo ops when we're at any event, you know, in town, or any town as a matter of fact.
That's awesome. We'll be looking forward to using those props. Take us through the process of creating some of your artwork. What is
Well,
your inspiration?
My inspiration is everything. I look at nature, I look at weird oddities, I just look at, if you look at my studio, it's actually full of a lot of collectibles, vinyls, toys. Those are things that inspire me. Anything that's odd. I do a lot of use of recycled material because it's easier. We are a society that we trash everything when we can use cardboard and metal and things like that. So I also do polymer clay. I work with a lot of polymer clay. That's probably my forte, and I've been doing it for 20 years. And polymer clay basically is a plastic clay that you can bake in your own home oven. Very easy to work. It doesn't dry. You can have it sitting out for days, weeks, even months, and still it's in a workable state. So I do a lot of that.
So what is that you're creating there?
He is going to be, and again, the oddity part of is called the Undertaker. He will be dressed in the Victorian clothing. He'll have a little casket next to him. So why these things pop up in my head, nobody knows, but it's fun. I enjoy it, and it keeps me relaxed and helps out, you know. So those basically what I do. I also use a program called Procreate on my iPad, and it's a drawing program. It's very inexpensive to use. It doesn't cost as much as Adobe Photoshop, and I use it to create, for example, the stickers. Even though I get an image of it, I still have to recreate the sticker in Procreate in order to print it out and use it on my Cricut machine to print and cut. So I do things like that. And anything else, if someone requests something weird, I will do it. My attitude is, why buy it when you can make it?
Why don't you take us through making those stickers?
Well, the stickers basically, like I said, I use a program called Procreate. I open a window, and in that process, I duplicate the image and get all the colors, set it up, get the sizing and everything. Then I transfer that image into the Cricut program. So all of you out there that have a Cricut, which are a lot of people, the Cricut program will pick it up. I will set it up on the 8.5 by 11 sheet so it can print. I will print it on my printer, and from there I take it from the printer to the Cricut machine, and it will cut it out for me. For example, let's see, it'll look like this. And once it's completed, it cuts out. This is the throwaway sheet, and this is what I'm left with. So I thought it was going to be a high learning curve to use this Cricut machine, but it's really not. So I do a lot of things. I mean, right now I'm actually trying to mount a bat. Someone requested that I mount it for them, so I'm going to do that.
but the background will have kind of a Victorian type of pattern to it to add to the element of the bat. And then it's going to be in a shadow box. So again, I'll do anything, I'll try anything. I'm always game for any new projects out there, new markers, new pens, anything that I can learn. It's basically a learning process. So one of the events that I participated in for Your Community Cares was a parade. And that parade, I created some images that I took basically drew from the website, so they can put it on the car, because it was a car parade. And that was one of the artwork that I did for them. And then there is the Manchester Butterfly Stroll. Last year was the first one, and I created this huge flower, cone flower with a butterfly on it. And that was displayed. And this year is our second annual Butterfly Stroll event. So this is this year's Butterfly Stroll art piece that I did. It's basically a bunch of butterflies coming out of a cage. I think with everything that's going on in this world, it shows a little bit of us leaving our cages, which is our home, and becoming a little more active and back into life. So everything here, with the exception of the butterflies, was made by me. Oh, and the leaves, of course, but the cage was also done and completed by me. There's a chrysalis in there and some caterpillars. So that'll be this Saturday on the 14th of May. We will be participating in our second annual Butterfly Stroll here in Manchester, Connecticut. I also am creating a frame for any photo ops during any type of festival or events that Your Community Cares holds or participates in. And this is the frame. I still have to add some additional elements, but again, it's some wood with pieces that I cut out, added some flower as element, and then the wording on the bottom, which I used to create. So anyone that comes in, it'll be on hooks, and this is what we will be looking at. So you can take all the photo ops you like. So just know when you see this, you'll see Your Community Cares booth and show up there. So this is my display case here right now, along with everything else in this room. But what I do is I do collect vinyls and toys. Why? Because they inspire me. These vinyl toys are very creative. Artists actually create them and they mold them out and sell them. That's how I get inspired with my art. But on top of the display of having stuff here, collectibles, I also have my artwork. For instance, this here. This is made out of polymer clay and epoxy sculpt with a wood base. Everything is hand sculpted and painted by me. So.
Does it have a name, your artwork?
No. Usually I have a hard time naming anything. It depends on what it is. I also have this little man here. He is completely made from polymer clay cloth. Everything, including the clothing, is made by me. And he has a name. He's Jack the Ripper. Jack the Ripper has a little bag full of knives. So, again, it's that little dark, moody type of art that I can get into. So I do things like that. I also do dragons. I have this affinity with dragons. I've had an affinity with dragons since I was a little kid. Why? I don't know, but I love dragons. Something about them. So I do stuff like this. And here's another one with a little leash on it. And again, it's made from polymer clay. And then these are some recent work which I made. They're stuffies basically. There's a little sheep here and then a little bison here. Again, as you see, I can go from polymer clay to fabric. So I do a little bit of everything because I like change. So again, this is some more stuff. My whole studio is basically full of my artwork everywhere because it's just a basement. So I don't have that many tables, which I need to get. But this is another one. Again, this was made with epoxy sculpt and polymer clay. Epoxy sculpt is a 2-part epoxy or epoxy that you mix together. It has a workable time of 15 to 20 minutes. Once it's you're done with the project, you can sand it, cut it, and it becomes very hard, very hard. I mean, and the head to this does come off. So on top of all the other work that I just showed you on my little cubicle over here, I also have some additional, like I said, my studio is completely loaded with stuff. I make things because they pop in my head and they have to come out, and this is what I do. This is my little flies. And again, these are made with polymer clay. Wings are actually plastic that are made and designed by me. And basically this is unicorn poop, which of course, flies are attracted to. So I do little whimsical things like that. I love bees, I love birds. I feed my birds out here. We have bees. I even have a nest near my door. I love nature. So, again, I try to work with stuff like that. And it does have actually eyelashes that I brought at CVS to place. Last year I also participated in the Fairy Festival here in Manchester. And it was an event where we did fairy doors and we placed them out on a trail in the park. And I did that, and it was great. It was up and running up until October. So several months basically it took. It was so nice because so many people participated. And those are the things that Manchester does, which I think are great. I decided to move into Manchester, Connecticut because I love this town. Out of all the places that I've been in, I like Manchester. And just now, in the past several years, more than that, they are doing a lot with the art community. They have workspace here in Manchester. They have a lot of events, and as an artist, it's just great to get out there to participate in these things. It's just recently that I started participating because I was more of a workaholic. I figured, working is the means instead of doing my art. But now as a caretaker, I need to do that additional income, and to do that, I need to use my artwork. So Manchester, love the place. It's a great area for any artist or anyone just to come out and get out of their houses, especially now that COVID is trying to stream down. So I've been doing art basically all my life, but it's only as a means to, let's say for the holidays, I would create things in order to give to family and friends as Christmas gifts. I would work because my attitude, and at my age, that was how I was brought up. You have to work, work, work. So now at my age, you realize that you can change. You can use your abilities. You can change your attitude. I'm no longer working a 9-to-5 job. I am a caretaker, so I have that, and I do that 24/7. But I also can utilize my skills as an artist to continue. So a lot of people say, oh, I'm too old for that. Well, no, you're not. So get out there, from all these years that I could have been a complete artist. It's just now at my age that I'm starting, and it's great. No complaints. So I'm so grateful that Carde Studios can work with your community cares to support Manchester events and work with them to get our name out there, and support the organization in Manchester. So besides a caretaker, I love volunteering. It's so satisfying to see that people can use the help, meeting people, different people. And I also love using my time to create. This is one of the glass holders that I made. He's an eyeglass holder that I created. Again, it's out of polymer clay, epoxy sculpt, and this is what I do. So come find us, both Your Community Cares and Carday Studios. You can find me at Carday Studios on Instagram and Facebook, and it's CARDESTUDIOS.